The moment I saw them force her to her knees, I knew the station was about to learn a very human lesson about consequences. She knelt on the cold alloy floor of Dock Ring 7, long fingers shaking as scattered nutrient pellets rolled away from her tray. Laughter echoed through the concourse, sharp, cruel, amplified by the hollow architecture of the Orion spire. Hundreds of species passed by without slowing. No alarms. No guards. Just indifference wrapped in steel and starlight. And something inside my chest cracked open. This was supposed to be a neutral station. A place where treaties lived longer than grudges. But neutrality only works when power is balanced, and power on Orion Spire belonged to the coalition species. The tall, plated Carson, the crystalline veil, the slick-smiling Morati traders. Not to a soft-skinned alien girl from a conquered world. Her name, I would later learn, was Leary. And this was only the beginning. I was just a human maintenance tech then. John Hale. 32. Earthborn. Invisible. The kind of guy you don't notice unless the lights go out or the air stops flowing. I carried a tool satchel and a bad back, and I kept my head down because humans were still considered probationary members of the galactic community. We were tolerated. Barely. The Carson bullies loomed over her, their chitinous limbs clicking as one of them nudged the tray with his boot. Pellets scattered farther. He laughed again, a grinding sound like rocks in a crusher. Eat, he said through his translator. You people are good at that. Her shoulders trembled. Alien logic said survival was compliance. Alien history had taught her that resistance meant extinction. Slowly, painfully, she reached for the floor. That's when I stopped walking. I don't know why I did. Humans aren't stronger than Carson. We aren't richer than Morati. We don't have ancient fleets or psionic weapons. But we do have something most species never bother to understand. We have a line. I stepped forward before my brain could catch up. The station noise faded, replaced by the pounding of my heart. Every survival instinct screamed at me to back off. Instead, I heard myself speak. Hey, I said. Come. Too calm. Hold my beer. The words didn't mean anything to them. But the tone did. The Carson turned, surprised a human had addressed them at all. One of them sneered. This is not your concern, mammal. I set my satchel down gently. Inside were tools rated for starship hulls. Plasma cutters. Grav clamps. Things designed to tear through materials that laughed at alien alloys. I smiled. And that was their second mistake. What happened next spread across the station in minutes, but no recording ever captured it properly. The way the lights flickered as I overrode local gravity controls. The way the floor beneath the Carson suddenly weighed 5 times more than it should have. The sound of chitin cracking when physics stopped playing fair. They fell. Hard. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Someone screamed. Someone ran. Security alarms began to wail. Far too late. I didn't hit them. I didn't need to. I just leaned down, picked up the tray, and placed it back in Leary's hands. Stand up, I said quietly. You don't belong on the floor. Her eyes met mine, wide, luminous, filled with a confusion that cut deeper than fear. Human empathy was not in her models. Kindness without transaction didn't compute. Security swarmed in seconds. Energy cuffs snapped around my wrists. The gravity normalized. The Carson groaned, pinned and humiliated. As they dragged me away, I heard whispers. A human interfered. A human defied coalition elites. A human broke neutrality. But that was only the beginning. They locked me in a holding cell overlooking the void. Transparent walls. Psychological intimidation. Standard procedure. A veil adjudicator floated in, facets shimmering with cold curiosity. You have endangered station harmony, it said. Your actions were illogical. I laughed. I couldn't help it. You let them torture her. Torture implies intent, the veil replied. This was social hierarchy enforcement. That was the moment something shifted inside me. You're going to punish me, I said. Because I made you uncomfortable. The veil didn't deny it. Hours passed. Then days. Word spread faster than any ship. Footage leaked. Edited. Shared. Human channels lit up. So did others. Species who remembered what it was like to kneel. Then Leary came to see me. She stood outside the cell, hands clasped, translator trembling as much as she was. "Why did you intervene?" she asked. "There was no gain." I met her gaze. "Because someone had to." She tilted her head, a gesture of deep cultural significance. "On my world, that is called madness." "On mine," I said softly, "it's called being human." What I didn't know, what none of us knew, was who Leary really was. The mid-story twist hit like a meteor. The coalition convened an emergency summit. Not because of me. Because Leary's presence had triggered ancient protocols. Genetic markers. Royal lineages thought erased during the Purge Wars. She wasn't just an alien refugee. She was the last living heir of the Alindrian Accord, a civilization the coalition had quietly exterminated to consolidate power. And humans? Humans were the only species never involved. We were too new, too weak, too irrelevant. Until we weren't. The revelation detonated across the galaxy. Protests. Riots. Systems seceding. And at the center of it all was a human tech who refused to look away. They offered me a deal. Apologize publicly. Condemn my actions. Reaffirm coalition authority. In return, I'd walk free. I asked one question. What happens to her? Silence answered. So I refused. The trial was broadcast on every major channel. They expected a broken man. A scared mammal. Instead, they got a human telling the galaxy exactly what we thought of bullies who hid behind treaties. I talked about Earth. About our wars. Our mistakes. Our monsters. And our heroes. We know what it means to be powerless, I said. And we know what it means to stand up anyway. The verdict never came. Because Earth's fleet arrived. Not the biggest. Not the most advanced. But optimized for one thing humans excel at. Adaptation. Every ship was a patchwork of borrowed tech and stubborn ingenuity. And behind them came others. Species inspired. Species angry. Species tired of kneeling. Leary stood beside me as the coalition collapsed under the weight of its own cruelty. In the end, there was no execution. No empire. Just a new accord, written in blood and courage. Leary was crowned among the stars, not as a ruler of vengeance, but as a symbol of survival. She asked me to stand with her. I declined. Someone has to keep fixing the lights, I said. Years later, children across the galaxy would learn the story. Not about fleets or treaties, but about the day bullies made an alien girl eat from the floor. And the moment a human said, "Hold my beer." Because that was the day the galaxy learned. Never underestimate a species that refuses to look away.